function is called the Hall counter. It's not very precise. What will very likely have energy delivery digital control, because the longer the power of the wow. I'm gonna magnify here because we're going to show you the arc. So we're gonna In this video, we're going to talk about one of the most important functions in our new beauty device with plasma. One of these functions is the Hall counter mode. First of all, we've got to talk about what it is and why we have introduced it. One of the problems with all devices on the market is the lack of digital electronic control of this device in terms of the duration of the arc. If you have watched our videos and you have followed our online training and our worldwide training on plasma devices, you'll know that the duration of the arc is one of the most important points in the use of this type of devices for aesthetic purposes, because the duration of the arc will have repercussions on the amount of energy you put into the skin, and then if you actually place whatever arc at whatever frequency at whatever power level for long enough, you can actually go into the bone as well. Say for example, if you've got a very low power arcing device and you place the arc for long enough, say for example 20 seconds, you make your bets, you're going to go into the bone. And it's something that doesn't normally happen anyway. However, we wanted to give the best option we've got in the new device. So you're going to be able to control to the millisecond, the amount of arcing you're going to put onto the skin. And this is how we're going to do it. So basically the new function is called the Hall counter. So what you're able to do is to precisely digitally control the timing of the arc. Why is that important? This is important because at this time the arc is controlled either using a button or using your own hand, and the feedback mechanism, the counting mechanism, is your eye, and you're not able to see when the arc is on or off, when the arcing time is when the switching on and off of the arcing is too fast. You're unable to do that, whereas the computer is able to do that. Very, very important point. And also you're not able to count to the millisecond. And also your hands is not as precise either, whereas a computer is, and we have made this available in our new device, and you'll actually see at the end of this video how this works. It's a beautiful thing. So you're able to digitally control, not only control, you're able to set that timing, the exact timing of the arcing, and we'll show you how in a second. And this in turn will give you energy delivery digital control, because the longer you're actually applying the arc, the more energy you're applying onto the skin. The shorter the time, the less energy you're applying into the skin. Very, very simple. So why hand control is not accurate? We already talked about it. It is not accurate because, first of all, you are unable to count to the milliseconds. This is a fact of life. Also, your eye is unable to tell when the arc has been switching on and off really fast, because it's not picking up on the very fast switching on and off of the arc, because you can only pick it up if that on and off is more than in the region of 200, 300 milliseconds. Then you're able to actually tell whether the arc has been on and off for a while. But if it's less than that, to you it is as if the arc is always on. Very, very important. Not only that, you're unable, as we said, to count the time that you perceive the arc to be on. Thirdly, you cannot use your hands as precisely as a computer does. A computer is very, very precise. For example, if you control the arc, the duration of the arc by just controlling your hand movement, as you do with the BEAUTYTECK, then this is not as precise, obviously. And also, say for example, with other devices where you use your hands and a button, it is even less precise, because you can still move your hand and switch off the arc, or you can release the button and switch off the arc. So you've got two ways to switch off the arc. So this is mainly why. So that is not accurate, and in our new devices we have made a decision to make the very best devices there is in the world for aesthetic purposes. We'll take Arcane device for aesthetic purposes, or Arcane device for aesthetic purposes, and therefore we give you this option. So you've got the most accuracy there is on the market for a long time. So if you want the best device, this is one of the functions which makes this device the best device there is on the market. So why does the eye does not register the arc of time? We already talked about it, and I'm going to repeat it again. If the switching off of the arc is only in the region of 200 milliseconds or less, sometimes you're not even able to tell that the arc has been off. And certainly, say for example, if it's in the region of 50 milliseconds, you're completely unable to tell. So your eye is not a good measuring device, whereas a computer does actually do a very good job. So, and the benefit you're going to get with our new device is that you've got the most accurate energy delivery there is on the market, undisputed. No one else to this day has thought about it and has done it. And we actually think that for a long time no one else will offer it either. So we're the first ones to offer it, and hopefully some other people will follow suit. This actually not only gives you the most accurate energy delivery on the market there is, but it makes it the safest, by far the safest device there is on the market, because you're not relying on your eye, on your hands, on your judgment when you count the duration of the arc. You're relying on a computer. A computer is able to count to the milliseconds with very little fault, very little fault. So it's the safest and most precise Arcane device that is on the market, at least because of this function, but we'll see other functions later on in our videos. We've got loads of videos, so watch them because we want to deliver the best training there is on this new device, because this device does require a lot of training. So this is one of the videos you've got to watch, but also there's other videos as well. Now, in order to explain what the hole counter is and how technologically advanced it is, we're going to give you this example. Let's look at this graph in particular. Now, this is the on time, which is just a simulation of the arc. Let's say this is the on time here, so put 1, and this is whatever is there is off. This is on, this is off, this is on, this is off. Now, let's say we go onto the hole counter mode, and we say, dear hole counter, deliver 600 milliseconds of arcing at the power I tell you and the frequency I'm telling you, because you can actually change the power level and the frequency. I'm going to talk about the frequency in a second. It's absolutely beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. So let's say we set it at 600 milliseconds. We want the exact duration of the arc to be 600 milliseconds and then shut off. And then you shut off. Now, let's say, because our hand is not very precise, what very likely happens is, especially with this very low energy arcing, is that, say for example, you may have an arc on for in the region of 200 milliseconds. Let's make it a round number. Let's make it a round number for the sake of the example. And what happens is, because maybe you move your hand, then the arc is off. Now, when the arc is off, then the counter stops counting, and and what happens is that say for example, if you've got here counted up to 200 milliseconds, but then it still has 400 milliseconds to still keep the arc on for. Let's say you manage to get the arc on for 50 milliseconds because your hand is not very good, and then because your hand is trembling, you actually switch it off, for example, inadvertently, for in the region of 10 milliseconds, and then you bring it back on after 10 milliseconds. So basically, breaking back on and you switch it off again inadvertently. So what the computer does is counts 200 plus 50 plus 60, so it's 310. Because you've set it at 600, this tip of this device is still on and it's still on for at least 290 milliseconds, because as we said, it's got to have a total of 600, so it's still waiting for another 290 milliseconds of timing in order to shut off. Now, then when you move that hand and then you manage to get the arc on, if it's on for the remainder 290 milliseconds, then the device automatically shuts off. So you know that in that precise point, you have delivered 600 milliseconds of voltaic arcing or plasma energy, which is absolutely beautiful. Now we're going to actually show you with a practical example how this works on our prototype. And then if you're watching this video, very likely by the time you watch it, this prototype is available on the market. So watch the following video, it's absolutely amazing. So as promised, we're here with our device. We're on the test process of this new BEAUTYTECK Plus, and what we're going to do here, we're just going to show you, we're going to do two things. First of all, we're going to show you the whole counter, how it works, and also we're going to take advantage of this opportunity to show you how a high power arc can do absolutely almost nothing onto your skin if the duration of the arc is very tiny. And we're going to try with 100 milliseconds, and we're going to go higher, and we're going to show you the differences, and we're going to show you in practice how it works. It's absolutely beautiful, so pay attention. You're going to love this. This is absolutely amazing, and so we're going to learn these two things. And once again, I'll just like to remind you is, number one, we're going to show you how a very tiny duration, even a high arc, has got almost zero effect on your skin. You can hardly feel it. So this actually corroborates that what we actually teach you in our training. That depending on the duration of the arc, the duration of the arc is extremely important. As I say, with a very short duration, basically do nothing, even a high power. Very long duration of the arc, even a very low power, you can actually cause very important injuries. This is why we've actually introduced the whole counter mode. So let's get into it immediately. Now we're gonna magnify here because we're gonna show you the arc. Let's see whether I can show you. I think this way should be okay. You've got the monitor here. Mind you, this is just the prototype, so we're gonna change the way this looks. This has been we've been working on this for a few months now, so that this is just a prototype, but it's going to look different once you've got it, when you get it. So, but this is the way it's configured at the moment. So what you've got here is the whole mode. We're going to just we click on the whole mode. Here at the moment, this is 100 milliseconds is the whole time. The whole counting time is 100 milliseconds. This is the whole time, which is the time that once the arc is finished with, this 100 milliseconds is finished with, it's going to wait 3 seconds before turning it on again. And this is the power level dictated by the voltage, but there's also the power level, there's also the frequency that you can change anyway. But this is just the beginning. So, but this is just to show you the power of the of this whole mode. See whether I can actually show you. I think is operational now. So I'm going to show you on my hand. This is quite a very important arc, and I've actually started doing it on my hand a number of times. And I'm going to do it for only 100 milliseconds, and you're going to see that even if it's an important arc, it's actually not doing much. It's not even painful as much. So look. So I've got to reset it. Got to reset it. So look. Start. Yes, I had to reset it. There you are. So it should work now. Yeah, there you have it. Actually feel absolutely almost nothing. Just a tiny tingling effect. Look, it's almost instantaneous. And I don't have to take the needle away. I just don't move the needle either. It's just there. See what I can show you even better. And here with my, instead of this chicken skin, I'm just going to use that. Oh, still feel it, but it's quite an important arc. And I'm going to do it for even less. I'm going to do it for 50 milliseconds. So I'm going to change it to 100 to 50. From 100 to 50. I'm going to try and see what happens. Yes, and it's actually configuring. See what happens at 50 milliseconds. It's even less. I can actually feel it less. See what I can show you. It's actually, I can't feel it. The duration is so small that I can't feel it. And I'm going to decrease the duration as well. Say to 20 milliseconds. Enter. See whether it's bleak. Okay, good. It's configuring. Okay, it should be okay. See at 20 milliseconds. I can't feel it. There is an arc, but I can't feel it. I can see the flashing. I don't know whether you can see it there in the video, but I can't really feel it. It's so instantaneous that I can't even feel it. It's beautiful. Now I'm going to increase it to a very interesting duration. Say 200 milliseconds, 2000 milliseconds, which is 2 seconds. See that actually shows you, yeah. Then enter. And then we're going to get the whole time a bit different. So it's configuring. But at the moment I cannot do it on my own hand because it's going to be 2 seconds of duration. It's going to really, it's the same power. It's the same power. Look at this. See what I can show you, yeah. I can't keep it there. Look, but it's a very, very important arc. I can't keep it there. But it's still going because it hasn't finished counting. Still going. Still going. And it's still going. Still going. I'm going to do it on the chicken skin because it's really painful. But it's the same. That's the important thing. It's the same power. But I mean, I can't really bear it if I've got a higher duration. So I'll do it on the chicken skin. The chicken skin you can't see much. Because it's frozen. So basically, if I keep, now it's off, it's on again. But the point is, so look, okay. The point is I keep it on. This actually doesn't show that well because of the water, the moisture of the frozen skin. I'd like to show you in a better, I think I've got to show you on my hand. In order to do that, I've got to decrease the duration. I'm going to do it in 1 second. So you can actually see the arc. It's configuring. See that actually does it. Wow. Wow, still on. It's absolutely amazingly. And it stopped. Now start again. Stopped, starts again. Wow. And it starts again. So look, I'm gonna do it for 500 milliseconds. Enter. Configuring. See if I can show you. Let's see, half a second, then it switches off. Waits for 4 seconds. It's off. So look, should be on now. Yeah, it's on again. It's on again. So yeah, it's on again. It's on. Still, see, it's still, I haven't actually done it for 500 milliseconds, so it's still on. Now it's off because it's actually counted. Okay, now it's on. It's on. Now it's off. So it's counted up to 500 milliseconds. I'm gonna wait. It's on. It's on. It's off. Basically, 500 milliseconds, if I can actually show you my beautiful face here, because I'm a model. So this is my chicken model, this is the real model, the monkey is the real model. The point is, if it's 500 milliseconds, basically roughly two bursts, and I get to 500 milliseconds, and it shuts off for 4 seconds there. So that's the way it works. So you've seen it. What we've learned in this video is the following. Basically, not only does it count only the duration of the arc, but also the funny thing is, if you just get that duration of the arc for extremely low duration to 50, 30, 20 milliseconds, the duration is so short that even in the extreme case of 20 to 10 milliseconds, you can hardly feel it. But the power is the same. The power is the same. If it's a high duration of God, you can really feel it. This is quite intense arc that I've used. It's not the highest power of the device, but it's quite high. So this is all for this video. Should you want to know more, please feel free to get in touch with us.